Hi there. I just wanted to say a couple of things about my first week of using Premiere after being on Final Cut for several years. The bottom line is that I'm extremely impressed with Premiere and what it's done in the last few years, and really glad that I've made the sort of changeover. It's very similar to Final Cut. There's not much of a learning curve. There's a bunch of sort of things that are odd and different names for calling things different names and slightly different ways of doing some things. But by and large, I've been really impressed by the flexibility, but most of all by the fantastic power, the real-time playback of the Mercury engine. I had a friend coming around last week, a fellow Final Cut editor, to see how, what we could do to make the system choke. And I was really impressed with being able to, well, we were basically sticking clips onto a timeline and stacking them on top of each other, putting them in 3D space and rotating them, different angles, and applying color correction filters, three-way color correction to every clip, applying a Gaussian blur to every clip, and this 3D space thing. And sometimes flipping it and doing a tint, just doing all sorts of stuff to it. Literally, I have now got 15 tracks on the timeline on top of each other, all playing real time, no rendering. It's just ridiculous. So anyway, if we push this one little key here, and it makes that thing full screen. But look at that. There's 15 tracks there, all playing in real time, and it's just quite astonishing how how this is all happening in real time with absolutely no rendering. Then tap that key again. If I look on the right hand side here, you can't see it very clearly, but there's a keyframe editor that is well, compared to Final Cut, is to die for. I mean, the one in Final Cut was abysmal, and the one in Final Cut X, I think, is non-existent. Well, it's kind of almost non-existent. It's basically a little palsy little things on the clip itself, which is rather pathetic. This is real Bezier handles and all the parameters. I'm copying and pasting keyframes, changing your ease in, ease out, all the basic stuff that you get in After Effects. I think it could be a little sexier even, but it's a major joy to work with. But I've just been really impressed using third-party. Look at some of these things here. These are third-party. This is some bunch of Sapphire, Genart Sapphire plugins, and then there's some Boris CC ones, Boris Continuum ones, and this is a Trapcode Shine one. I just pushed in a Trapcode Shine, sort of effect, just giving a gorgeous shine in real time, just like that. This is two keys. This is two tracks, both doing a chroma key real time over each other. So there's actually two chroma keys going on there. I mean, I could probably stack up 15 if I wanted to, but I just did two over here. Well, basically, all in all, I mean, learning curve. There's a bit of a learning curve, and there are some things that are frustrating. But the sheer joy of being able to work without rendering. I mean, so far the idea of not having background rendering hasn't really been an issue at all, because I haven't actually needed to render. So there's fantastic power behind it, and being able to throw any codec in there, not having to wait for your XDCAM EX footage to be wrapped in a MOV thing, and having to deal with Apple's proprietary stuff. So I'm really pleased with it, and I would highly recommend you guys doing the same thing. Cheers.